to Deep Sleep Stories. Thank you to everyone who's been listening. If these stories help you relax or fall asleep, a short review, comment, or sharing the podcast with someone who might benefit is a simple and meaningful way to support the show so that we may continue to offer it for free. Now, take a slow, gentle breath and let's begin tonight's story.
Welcome to Deep Sleep Stories. In this gentle space, you are invited to leave behind the worries of the day and slip into a world of quiet enchantment. Tonight, you will drift into a realm of moonlit forests and crisp winter breezes, where frosted lanterns glow softly beneath silent pines, lighting a path of calm and ease. Take a moment now to settle into your resting place. Allow your body to sink deeper into comfort, feeling warm and safe. Notice the soft hush of your breath as it slows and steadies, releasing all tension. You might imagine that each inhalation brings in a sense of warmth, and each exhalation carries away the last traces of stress. Inhale peace, exhale release. With every moment you relax further, and as you grow still, feel the gentle weight of your eyelids. Soon you will be carried away on a soothing tale of moonlight and snowfall, a story woven in soft tones and hushed marvels, designed to lull you into the sweetest of dreams. Gradually allow yourself to become aware of a quiet wood hidden away from the bustling world. The ground is covered in a light drift of snow, twinkling faintly in the moonlight. Pine trees rise tall and proud, their branches spread in noble arches overhead, forming a natural cathedral of green needles dusted with silvery frost. The air here is crisp but not unkind. It has a gentle chill, like a refreshing reminder of nature's grace. Somewhere in the distance, a soft wind stirs, carrying the scent of pine and faint echoes of distant streams. You feel safe in this dreamlike place, peaceful and content in the hush. Let your breathing slow down even further, and as your body relaxes, your mind can gently prepare to drift. Soon you will listen, not as someone who must stay alert, but as one who allows the story to pour over you like a lullaby of words. Now you can let your thoughts move into a quieter space. Let the last of the day's busy energy dissolve like a snowflake in a warm palm. You have arrived at the doorstep of an enchanted forest where moonlight and lanterns illuminate soft footpaths, and all you need to do is enjoy the steady pace of this tale. Give yourself permission to listen with only half an ear if you like. Let each word be a gentle push on a swing that lulls you into comforting rhythms. Let every image be a soft brush stroke, painting a tranquil scene in your mind's eye. Allow yourself to float in this drowsy landscape, secure in the knowledge that nothing is required of you except to rest, to drift, and to sink further into the plush embrace of sleep. Far away from any hectic roads and noisy streets, a gentle traveler once wandered among silent pines dusted with snow. Their footsteps made hardly a sound as they pressed gently into the soft layer of winter's gift beneath their feet. Each step revealed faint tracks that glowed in the moonlight before gradually blending with the drifting flakes that continued to fall, ever so slowly, from a sky laced with silver clouds. Above, the tall pine boughs stood watch, a patient gathering of ancient guardians. The traveler's breath formed small clouds in the cold air, then dissipated without a trace, vanishing into the star-laced horizon. This traveler carried a small lantern of frosted glass. At first glance, the lantern's glow was pale and shy, but if one were to look closely, they would see the steady, comforting light within, akin to a beating heart. The traveler walked with a calm purpose, though no hurry drove them onward. They simply felt drawn to move deeper into the forest, guided by the hush of pine needles overhead and the gentle crunch of snow beneath. From time to time, a stray breeze would weave between the trunks, setting the needly branches swaying in a near-silent lullaby. Pine cones, perched precariously high, scarcely moved, as if reluctant to disturb the serene hush of this nocturnal grove. The traveler paused on occasion, tilting their lantern upward, letting its gentle light fall on the trunks of the pines, revealing subtle patterns in the rough bark. In these quiet moments, it seemed as though time itself had slowed, allowing each beat of the heart to align with the subdued whisper of the wind. In the distance, there was a faint glimmer of golden light, like the soft flicker of a candle seen through frosted glass. The traveler took calm, unhurried steps in that direction, guided by the promise of something warm and welcoming. An old stone cottage stood at the edge of a small clearing, its windows aglow with the flickering dance of firelight. Smoke curled from a modest chimney, painting a gentle wisp of gray into the moonlit sky. Though the night was blanketed with frost, the presence of that cottage exuded warmth and tranquility. Beyond the cottage, nearly hidden by tall evergreens, lay a clearing dotted with several small lanterns. Each lantern glowed with its own personality, some flickering softly with golden light, others shining with cooler, more silvery tones that caught the icy edges of snow and made them glisten like stardust. This was the place the traveler had heard of, a secret glade where folk would gather by lamplight on winter evenings for quiet reflection and gentle companionship. The traveler approached slowly, feeling an almost reverent hush. The pine trees surrounding the clearing seemed to bow in an unspoken welcome. The cottage door opened and an elderly figure stepped out, wrapped in a heavy cloak. Their face was kind, and lines of wisdom spread like branching rivers from the corners of their gentle eyes. They nodded in greeting, beckoning the traveler closer with a gesture so slight it was almost imperceptible. Despite the stillness of the night and the hush of the pines, warmth seemed to emanate from this kind soul, drifting outward like the gentle light of a lantern on a cold evening. Inside the cottage, a small hearth crackled, sending a glow of ember and flame dancing across walls, lined with shelves of worn books and jars of dried herbs. The rugs were thick, and the wooden floor was as warm as a comforting memory. The traveler was welcome to rest a while, to let the outside cold dissipate in the presence of glowing embers A cup of tea was prepared, fragrant with pine needles and a hint of sweet berry, so gentle that the steam itself smelled of serene winter nights and the hush of falling snow. Time moved deliberately, as though measured out in slow, soothing heartbeats. The traveler and the kindly inhabitant spoke in hushed voices about the frosted lanterns outside, how they had been placed there over many years by visitors who wished to honor the silent beauty of winter. Each lantern told a story, a memory of a dear friend, a prayer for peace, a gratitude for simpler times. As the night deepened, the traveler's heart felt lighter. This place, so far removed from the clamor of everyday life, embraced them in its aura of stillness. Outside, snow crystals continued to drift lazily, reflecting the light of the lanterns until it seemed the entire clearing shimmered like a gentle dream. With renewed warmth in their bones, the traveler stepped outside once again, carefully cradling the frosted lantern brought from afar. The moon gleamed overhead, and a hush lay upon the forest, so complete that each breath felt sacred. Soft crunches marked the traveler's steps as they moved from lantern to lantern, pausing to watch the delicate interplay of light upon the snow. Each frosted glass told its own tale, etched with subtle patterns that refracted the glow like tiny stars caught within. Not far from the circle of lanterns, a wide pine stood at the edge of the glade, its boughs spread as though to embrace the night. The traveler knelt at its trunk, clearing away a small patch of snow until the cool brown earth was exposed. Gently, they placed their frosted lantern in a spot that felt just right, a place where the glow could dance across the roots and reflect up into the pine's branches. A breath of wind circled around, rustling the needles overhead in a sound like a distant lullaby. For a moment, the traveler closed their eyes, feeling the tender hush of the forest and the quiet warmth of this new lantern's glow. Snow continued to fall, slow and unhurried, dusting the lantern with a delicate film of crystals. The traveler stood, gazing at that gentle light, imagining how it might burn steadily through the night, offering a point of warmth for any creature passing by, a quiet testament to hope and calm. The circle of lanterns illuminated the clearing enough to reveal small footprints, perhaps left by rabbits or foxes searching for shelter. Now and then, one could almost sense a subtle stirring in the undergrowth as tiny forest dwellers quietly witnessed the traveler's presence. Gradually, clouds shifted overhead. The moon emerged fully, washing the clearing and the pines in silver blue tones. The world around glimmered as if blanketed in subtle moonbeams. The frosted lanterns gleamed with a soft luminosity, each one seeming to breathe gently in time with the rustling pines. The traveler, feeling both peaceful and curious, decided to wander among them, leaning in to see the faint engravings on the glass. Some bore etched designs of pine cones or woodland creatures. Others held patterns of swirls and stars, reminiscent of stories told long ago. The traveler could not help but marvel at the love and dedication each lantern represented. They were tiny beacons of care left behind in a quiet grove, each telling a part of a larger tapestry of memory. Farther along the edge of the clearing, a little stream bubbled beneath a thin shell of ice. The gentle burbling provided a soft soundtrack, its voice melding with the muted hush of the forest. The traveler moved closer, curiosity leading them to watch the water trickle underneath its delicate frosty lid. In this stillness, they noticed how even the smallest details became profound. A lone leaf drifted beneath the ice, its colors muted by the moonlight, yet still vibrant with the memory of autumn. The swirl of water around the leaf was mesmerizing, a gentle dance that seemed both timeless and fleeting. As night deepened, the cottage door opened once more, and the kindly figure stepped out again with a steady, glowing lantern in hand. This lantern was a bit larger, its sides decorated with filigree that caught the light like intricate lace. With a silent nod, they made their way to the center of the clearing. One by one, a few more people emerged from around the pines, perhaps fellow travelers or companions who felt drawn to the glow. They walked with the languid grace of those who carry no burden of urgency. In stillness and near silence, they formed a small circle of watchers around the largest lantern. The kindly inhabitant set the lantern down and lit a fresh candle inside, carefully shielding the flame from any stray gust of wind. A soft glow expanded, illuminating gentle faces. No words were necessary. The hush of pines and snow filled the silence with quiet acceptance. Those gathered closed their eyes for a moment, breathing in the cold, fresh air, letting it mingle with the warmth of the lantern light. A sense of shared serenity flowed through them, as tangible as the warmth of a hearth on a cold night. The forest watched over them all, branches creaking softly in subtle conversation. Then, as if guided by an unspoken understanding, each visitor departed as silently as they had come. Some returned to their hidden cabins deeper in the woods. Others melted away into the forest paths that led back toward distant villages. The traveler lingered, taking comfort in the circle of light for a few moments longer. The silver moonlight, the whispering pines, and the gentle glow of the lanterns together created a dreamscape so soothing that one's entire being could surrender to it. When the traveler finally turned to leave, the frosted lantern at the base of the wide pine was still shining steady as a loyal companion. With calm steps, the traveler made their way back to the cottage. Its door remained unlocked, welcoming those seeking warmth and rest. Inside, the fire had burned down to soft embers, providing a glow that felt like the heartbeat of the home. The kindly inhabitant offered a small bed, piled high with thick blankets. The traveler accepted with quiet gratitude, removing their boots and cloak and sliding into the welcoming cocoon of warmth. A hush settled in, broken only by the faint crackle of the dying fire. traveler looked toward a small window. Through it, the circle of lanterns in the clearing shimmered faintly like distant stars set upon the earth. The traveler let the glow lull them, eyelids growing heavier with each breath. Somehow the hush of the pines, the dance of shadows on the snow, and the tender gleam of the lanterns all merged, weaving the traveler's dreams into a single tapestry of serenity. Night lingered lovingly, letting its gentle darkness envelop the forest. Outside, the frost thickened upon every available surface, creating shimmering crystals along windowsills and tree branches. Yet the lanterns burned on, each flame protected by frosted glass. The occasional rustle of an animal passing by was almost imperceptible, but if one listened closely, they might hear soft footprints or the fleeting hush of air through tiny lungs. Even in the heart of winter, life pulsed quietly, warmed by the gentle lights scattered beneath the pines. Dreams unfolded for the traveler in that snug bed. They drifted through forests where lanterns lit hidden paths and pines bent in graceful arcs under the weight of freshly fallen snow. In these dreams, the traveler roamed freely, unhurried, noticing the smallest wonders, the delicate swirl of snowflakes caught in a moonbeam, the reflection of starlight on a half-frozen stream, and the hush of a sleeping grove waiting for the dawn. When morning finally stirred, the forest was bathed in a soft, pearly light. The sun rose with tender hesitance, as if not wanting to disturb the pristine hush of night's embrace. Yet with each gentle ray peeking through the pines, glints of silver on the snow turned to shimmering gold. The lanterns, still alight in the gathering dawn, looked somewhat more fragile in the clarity of day, their flames flickering as if half dreaming. Birds began to stir among the branches, their faint chirps signaling the slow awakening of the forest. The traveler rose from the cozy bed, drawn by the pale morning glow filtering through the cottage window. They dressed in warm layers and stepped outside where breath formed soft clouds. In the chill air, the kindly inhabitant was already awake, tending to a simple pot of oats and berries on a small stove. The smell was warm and comforting, a subtle sweetness that blended with the crisp scent of morning. Breakfast was shared without ceremony, just a gentle moment of nourishment before another day of quiet wandering. Soon the traveler ventured back into the clearing. The lantern placed the night before still stood at the base of the wide pine, its flame now just a faint flicker. The traveler knelt, carefully lifting the frosted glass cover and gently blowing out the flame, leaving behind a swirl of smoke that curled upwards toward the snowy branches. The day would be long, and the flame might be rekindled at dusk, but in the hours of daylight the clearing belonged to the sunshine, which scattered its own gentle brightness across the snow. A sense of peace settled over the traveler, the same warm assurance one feels when stepping into a place that welcomes you, heart and soul. The pines waved their branches overhead, and each passing breeze carried a note of hushed gratitude. Though the traveler had initially arrived here guided by curiosity, they had found something far more precious, a stillness that offered rest from a world that so often rushed by. Deciding to explore further, the traveler followed a small trail leading behind the cottage. The path was lined with pines on either side, forming a green corridor frosted in shimmering crystals of snow. Now and then, the traveler paused to admire a curious formation of ice upon a fallen log, or to listen for the soft calls of winter birds. Every so often, sunlight broke through the branches, casting delicate patterns of light upon the forest floor. It felt as though each beam of light revealed something magical. A patch of pale winter moss, a tiny icicle clinging to the tip of a twig, or the gentle swirl of vapor from a hidden spring. Eventually, the trail opened onto a hillside that overlooked a valley wrapped in mist. The traveler found a comfortable rock to sit upon, letting the hush of the morning envelop them. From this vantage point, the traveler could see how the forest stretched for miles, pine after pine in softly rolling hills. A faint haze lingered at the edges, masking the horizon in pastel whites and blues. It was a view of winter's peaceful grandeur, and for a few heartbeats the traveler felt as if they were part of that vast, still panorama. Worries were an echo in a distant world. Here, only the present hush existed. By midday, the sun rose higher, its rays cutting through the canopy at a sharper angle. The winter sky remained pale, more a gentle wash of light than a vibrant color. The traveler decided to return to the clearing where the lanterns rested. Snow crunched underfoot, though it had softened slightly under the day's mild warmth. As they stepped back into that circle of frosted lanterns, memories of the previous night's moonlit gathering stirred. The glass surfaces of the lanterns now sparkled in the daylight, droplets of melted frost catching the sunlight to form tiny rainbows. The kindly inhabitant was outside tending to a small garden plot sheltered by a lean-to. Winter greens grew there, hardy enough to survive cold temperatures. The second figure helped in quiet companionship, harvesting a few leaves and checking the health of each plant. The traveler offered a gentle wave, a warm greeting that did not require words. Then, drawn once more to the base of the wide pine, they approached the lantern placed there. Examining the etched patterns in the glass, the traveler couldn't help but run a fingertip over the delicate swirls that mirrored the slow dance of snowfall. It was a moment of reflection, a reminder that the simplest objects, offered in quiet sincerity, can bring immense solace. As the sun began its descent in the early afternoon sky, a hush returned to the glade. Here and there the traveler caught glimpses of gentle chores, someone collecting firewood, another gathering fresh snow to melt for water, and the kindly inhabitant carrying a basket indoors, perhaps filled with the day's harvest of winter greens. A subtle sense of community thrived in this secluded forest, held together by the unspoken agreement to live in harmony with the hush of nature. The traveler, feeling a mellow drowsiness from the rhythmic calm of the day, chose to rest against the wide pine. Softly, the trunk provided a sturdy backrest. As the eyes of the traveler drifted half closed, gentle forest sounds filled the pause between heartbeats. The wind sifting through needles, the crunch of distant footsteps, the distant chatter of a winter wren. Moments seemed to stretch and blend, each breath inviting a deeper kind of rest. Dreams, half formed, began to shimmer behind closed lids, colored by the memory of lantern light and the hush of snowfall. When evening's dusk finally arrived, it was tender, the light slanting through the pines in pastel hues of lavender and soft gold. Once more, that special time for lantern lighting approached. The kindly inhabitant emerged, carrying a small bundle of candles. One by one, the lanterns in the clearing were lit again, their flames dancing awake. The traveler joined, gently lighting the frosted lantern placed beside the wide pine. As the new candle took flame, the glass sides glowed with an inviting aura, reminding all who saw it of the gentle magic that lived in these woods. Dusk melted into night, and the stars blinked awake in a sky now clear of all clouds. The pines swayed slightly as though they recognized the arrival of another sacred winter evening. Lanterns dotted the snow, each one's flame reflecting off crystals of ice, so that the clearing resembled a tapestry of starlight that had descended to earth. The traveler, once again wrapped in a cloak, stood quietly, letting that infinite hush settle into every corner of their being. Each flicker of flame was like a heartbeat, a gentle pulse in the darkness. In this moment of profound stillness, the traveler felt the pull of sleep, as if the forest itself were singing a lullaby, an invitation to rest among the silent pines. With unhurried steps, the traveler returned to the warmth of the cottage. The kindly inhabitant met them at the door, offering a peaceful nod and guiding them inside. The fire glowed in the hearth, and the wooden walls radiated gentle heat. Before the traveler even sat down, their eyelids felt heavy, their limbs soft with the pleasant fatigue born of spending a day in quiet communion with nature's rhythms. A simple meal had been prepared, a fragrant stew of root vegetables and herbs that tasted of the forest's generosity. The traveler ate slowly, grateful for the nourishment, savoring each spoonful in unspoken gratitude. The cozy hush enveloped them, and conversation was minimal, as though words would only clutter the precious serenity. After the last bite, the traveler felt a gentle wave of drowsiness flow through them, tugging them toward the bed of thick blankets that awaited. Slipping under those covers, the traveler breathed in the subtle scents of pine and firewood that lingered in the cottage's air. Through the window, the lantern-lit clearing glimmered softly, Each frosted lantern told a story of hopes and dreams, of arrivals and departures, of memories cherished and shared. The traveler's eyes fluttered. Sleep hovered just at the threshold of awareness, a gentle tide rising to wash away the final remnants of wakefulness. Outside, the snow-laden pines kept silent vigil, their branches woven with moonlight and the faint glow of lantern flames. The hush of the forest was absolute now, save for the occasional exhalation of a breeze through the needled canopy. The night wore on, patient and comforting, offering its quiet blessing to all who wandered within its domain. In that timeless hour, the traveler drifted into a deep, restful sleep, unburdened by thoughts of tomorrow, content to float in the hush of this moment, carried along by the faint flicker of distant lanterns and the gentle lullaby of the pines. Now it is time for you to slip even deeper into your own rest, to let go of all that remains on your mind. Let your breathing become slow and steady. Feel the gentle heaviness in your limbs as you settle into warmth and stillness. Imagine you can sense the soft glow of those lanterns, even with your eyes closed, each flicker drawing you closer to peaceful slumber. With every breath, you drift further from any noise or worry that once seemed pressing. Let the hush of the pines cradle you, as though you too are resting against that wide trunk, gazing up at frosty needles etched against the moonlit sky. In this final moment before you cross fully into the land of dreams, take comfort in the memory of that circle of lanterns, each one a small beacon in the velvet darkness. Picture their glow gently reflected in the snow, the air crisp and filled with a profound sense of well-being. The hush is so complete that even time seems to slow. Your heartbeat is calm, your spirit light. You are at peace here in this sanctuary beneath silent pines. Allow all your thoughts to soften and fade like distant lanterns merging with the night. Let your breath guide you, each slow exhalation a tender lullaby. With every inhale, you draw in calm and ease, and with every exhale, you surrender to the soothing depths of rest. Let the forest's quiet hush and the soft warmth of the lanterns become part of your dreams. Float in that tranquil space where the light of each frosted lantern merges with the soft glow of starlight. There is no need to stir, no cause for worry. You have all the time you need to rest deeply and peacefully. Good night, dear traveler. May the frosted lanterns guide you to serene dreams, and may the silent pines watch over you with gentle grace. Sleep well